Hello once again. Thanks for tuning into my channel, guys. And today, what I'm gonna go over with you is my eBay challenge. I mentioned it in my intro video. That's how I was gonna start off this channel, by the eBay challenge. And I'm gonna give you some details as to how I'm gonna do it and why I'm doing it. Now, first we'll start with why. Why am I doing this? Originally, when I first started reselling online, or started making money online, it was with eBay. I remember the way I started making money online, believe it or not, was with Hot Wheels. I started buying Hot Wheels. Well, first of all, I had Hot Wheels that I no longer wanted. In other words, I had a collection of Hot Wheels. And I got to a point, I had a big box full of Hot Wheels. So what I did is I decided to sell them. I didn't want them anymore. I got past, as you can say, the collecting them. They were just sitting there doing nothing. So I started looking up on eBay to see how much these cars go for. And to my surprise, because as you know, Hot Wheels only costs like 99 cents at most stores. But to my surprise, they were going for like $5, $10, $15 or more when my initial investment was $1 or less. And if you don't know much about Hot Wheels, they have something that's called treasure hunts. And those go for a little more, especially the older ones. I don't know about the newer ones, not so much now, the newer ones, but the older ones go for a whole lot more. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, you can make money on eBay by selling Hot Wheels. So I sold most of my collection. I didn't sell all of it. I mean, it didn't have, I guess, all that much of an interest, at least some of the vehicles. So that's what got me actually started on eBay, was selling Hot Wheels. So when I realized that you can make money selling Hot Wheels, I tried that for about, I think, a month or two, trying to sell Hot Wheels online. And I would buy stuff, but I realized real fast that you literally had to hunt for these desirable vehicles or desirable variations of the Hot Wheels. And it just became a chore. I was going to store after store. I remember I was going to Walmart's, Target's, Walgreens, Kroger, because Kroger has exclusive one, at least where I live, they have exclusive ones to Kroger, places like that. I was going to them literally every single day, seeing to see if they have restocked their cars, and it just became one heck of a chore over and over trying to find these vehicles, at least the most desirable vehicles. Every so often I did find them, but in general, I got to a point where I was like, you know what, enough, forget this. I'm not gonna do this. So that little small business venture died off quickly, as you can say. And then from then I started learning other things to sell online, other things to sell on eBay, and then that pretty much started my eBay business. But the way I did it was, I started one weekend at a garage sale. It actually ended up being a church sale that I went to. And I only had 20 bucks that weekend. So I only had 20 bucks to use that weekend. Everything else was kind of accounted for. So I had 20 bucks to start. And that's exactly what I went to my first garage sale or church sale. And I remember buying some board games, some Nerf guns, and I ended up selling them eventually. They didn't sell quickly or fast, but they did sell. And that's what pretty much started my journey, officially, as you can say, on eBay. So I'm going back to kind of how I started with the same $20, because I know that you can get started with just 20 bucks buying something cheap, as you can say, and then reselling it for a high amount of money. But the way I'm going to do this is what I call the eBay $20 challenge. But the way I'm going to do this differently compared to when I first started is I'm going to snowball the money, the $20, back into the, as you can say, the challenge. I won't say business, because this is more of a challenge. I'm not looking to create a whole eBay store right now. So the way this is going to work is the $20 I start off with, I'm gonna just snowball it. In other words, reinvest it back over and over and over and over until I reach my specific goal. So I wrote down 5 things, I should say, like rules that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna follow by in order to do this challenge. The first one is what am I going to sell? And honestly, it's going to be anything and everything. I have pretty much a wide knowledge of a lot of things I sell on eBay. Like I said, I have been doing it for over 2+ years. I don't have a specific niche or anything that I sell only. I sell pretty much anything that makes money, I will sell. So as far as what I will sell, it'll be anything and everything. I'm not gonna exclude nothing that you can say, as long as it falls in my first 20 bucks. The next thing is I'm only gonna look for stuff that's fast turn items. In other words, you want the fast nickel. Again, I don't want to be doing this for the next 6 months, trying to raise some money. I'm showing you guys an eBay challenge. I want to get this as fast as possible. So I'm going to focus on stuff that I can sell fast, like 24 hours fast or a couple days fast. Hopefully not a week, but I know enough where some of the stuff that I know that has a high demand can sell real quick. So we're going to sell anything and everything, and it has to be a fast nickel item. Now, how much? Of course, be $20. That's how much I'm going to start off with, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I buy and why I bought it and how much I expect to get out of it. The next thing, it's the goal. Like, how much do I plan to raise, as you can say, or save up to? With the $20, my first goal is to get to $500. So I want to take those $20, snowball it, in other words, reinvest it, and grow it to $500. So $20 and grow it to $500. Never touching the profits. Just taking the 20 and everything I sell off of that, and all the profits I get back up from it, I'm gonna just put it right back into the business, or I'm sorry, right back into the challenge. And then now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to show people that eBay is still alive. You can still make money on eBay. A lot of people are saying eBay is done, go to Amazon, but in reality, eBay is still alive and well. You can still make good money on eBay. If you can find a good business model on eBay, you can still make a great living just on eBay. But for me, I'm just going to use it to jumpstart my next venture. That's the main reason behind this channel, is to show you guys how to make money online different ways, not just eBay and Amazon, because like I said, there's lots of ways to make money online. So the main reason I'm doing this is so I can grow that fund, grow that money to a certain amount, so I can go ahead, once I reach the amount that I want, I can go ahead and now take on another business venture. And I'll show you guys exactly what I'm planning on doing in later videos and what ways of making money online I plan on doing, or maybe even take some suggestions from you guys as to what would you guys like me to go after once we've raised the money we want. Like I said, first be $500. Then once I reach 500, I want to go ahead and move it up to 1,000. Now that's my initial goal, is to hit $1,000 saved up. Now we're snowballed up, and once we have that amount of money, then I'll probably go to you guys and ask, like, what would you like me to try out? Like, what do you want me to try out to see if we can make money that way online? Because we can try affiliate marketing, email marketing. We can try out. What's another way you can make money online? There's a lot more ways. That's the only two things that popped in my head right now for some reason. I can't think of any other ways of making money online, even though I know there's a lot. But like I said, that's the whole point of the eBay challenge. Again, I'm gonna sell anything and everything. I'm looking only for fast turn items. No, they gotta be fast nickels. No time to be waiting here a week, 2 weeks, hopefully it sells. No, none of that. These items have to sell fast. Only 20 bucks to start, and all the profits I get from my sales are gonna be right back into it. First goal is $500. And you're probably asking, well, how long or how fast you want to get to 500 bucks, or how fast can you get to $500 with just 20 bucks? In my opinion, my goal is to hit $500 in 30 days. I think you can do it. I think it's possible. And that's my goal, is 500 bucks in just 30 days. If it takes a little longer, so be it. But that's my goal. And the reason why we're doing this because I'm using the money to jumpstart my next business venture, to show you guys other ways to make money online. So you can go ahead and use that for marketing or taking a course or whatever it is. Now, I do want to mention just a couple things with this challenge. Now, if you've been selling on eBay before, you're probably saying, you know, $500 is easy. You know, that shouldn't be no problem at all. If you never sold on eBay or I've never sold anything online, you're probably thinking, you know, I gotta watch this and see if you can actually do it. But I can tell you right now that it's very doable. It's very possible, and it's possible because there's so much stuff out there, that you can purchase. And actually, one thing I didn't mention was where I'm gonna get my stuff. How I'm gonna go about and get the items is gonna be from thrift stores, garage sales, and we'll say flea markets, but I don't go to them very often or at all. So I'm just gonna stick with thrift stores and garage sales because of the entry, which you can buy stuff. You can get into stuff real cheap at thrift stores and garage sales, and you can sell for very high. Now, I do want to mention that if I come across a home run item, and what I mean by a home run item is something that cost me, say, less than $10, and it sells for over 100. Those do happen, and if it does, great. You know, that just jump starts it, and that just proves to you guys that those items are out there. And if that happens, great. And if it, you know, but at the same time, there's something I like to call the Grand Slam items. Those are rare and in between. Those probably rarely happen. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had that happen to you. And what I classify as a Grand Slam is something you pay for, usually 100 or less, or the most I've ever paid was I think $25, $30. But something that you get into real cheap, $50 or less, and it resells for like 500 plus or more. I mean, like way up there. To me, those are Grand Slams. I mean, you don't get them every day. Those come every so often. I had one of those last year. I came across an item, or actually it was a bundle of items that cost me $25 total. That was it. That's how much I paid for in the garage sale. And I ended up selling all of this. What it was a collection of Sony mini discs. At that point, I didn't even know what they were because I guess it was a technology that came and went real fast. And it was a collection of Sony mini discs. And it was just a collection this guy had, and I guess he wanted to get rid of it. He said you could have it all for $25. I was like, okay. I mean, I saw the name Sony. You have to tell me twice. So I said, Sony, it has. I'm gonna get my money back at least on one of them. I ended up selling everything in this box of bundle for over $1,000. It came out to probably, I think when it's all said and done, probably $1,100, $1,200 in sales. Take away the fees and stuff, of course. I still walked away with probably close to 1,000, if not 900 something, after fees and shipping. With shipping, I mean, they weren't big; they were about this big. So it was a very good Grand Slam, as I like to call it. But it hasn't happened since then. I've never found any other item again since then that made me that much money in one sale, or a couple sales, that is. And I did them on eBay because I looked them up on Amazon and they weren't available. Like the same exact models weren't showing up on Amazon. So I was like, oh, well, throw them on eBay, and it still sold well. But guys, that's pretty much it. Again, I call this the eBay challenge, the $20 challenge. Like I said, I'm gonna start doing this starting this weekend. This weekend I'm gonna hit up some garage sales, and hopefully I can use all my $20 at a garage sale. If not, I'll go to a thrift store and look for some items to sell there. And as soon as I have my items, I'll come back to you, share with you guys what I found, how much I expect to sell it for, and how fast hopefully it sells for. So once again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to please like and subscribe.